All right, everybody, Movie Talks and Chill here. We're your host. I'm Tony Serrato.
I'm Gavin Butts.
I'm Patrick Wall.
And we are on day 2 of the Sunscreen Film Festival. The official starting of it yesterday was the red carpet kickoff. Today is beginning the first screening at 10.
Yes, the Guru.
The Guru, yes. So it seems to be a pretty big deal around here. They have their own...
It seems to be a very athletic and nutrition-based documentary.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think I just saw one of the guys.
the man that just ran by looked like he could, crush my skull with his with his
A lot of
bicep.
the people coming to see this movie look just ripped.
Yeah. So we got, it's just kind of kicking off. Everybody's starting to get here. We will be doing a bunch of interviews. It's going to be a big thing, man. I think even based on what we saw yesterday, just the kickoff and time frame of the red carpet was a lot more than I saw at that time last year.
Yeah.
Not saying that it didn't get big last year, but it got big as time went on. This one was like, bam, right at like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
And I also think it helped condense because we had, the courtyard now is under construction, so people couldn't meander through there and, get in their own little groups. Everybody had to be close together.
Oh, yeah.
We were funneled like cattle.
Yes. Yeah.
And then if my shoe broke, that was a fun part last night.
Floppy feet.
Yep.
Floppy toes.
Nick, give us a call. We've got an idea for the sequel to Hanky Panky.
Killer shoe.
Taming of the Soul. Hanky Panky 2. We might get sued by Nick now.
Yeah.
Hanky Panky 2 Parabellum.
What? Yeah, I'm not going to tell that joke. Never mind. But yeah, we just wanted to kind of do a quick little kickoff, as the Sunscreen is just now really starting. There's a lot of blocked films going on today. Mm-hmm. What we'll be doing is we'll come back on in a little while. If we don't have an interview, we'll jump back on right away and just kind of give you a rundown of some of the stuff that's playing and everything, and we'll kind of go through.
Quick heads up, friend of the show, Brian Williams, his movie is premiering tonight at 6:30.
Yep, Brian is also the marketing director here of Sunscreen. So
yes, he is.
He handles any of the marketing stuff, all the social media stuff. So
I think
everything.
He'd rather you say Big B.
Big B, aka Big B.
When I got here,
AKA Big B.
AKA.
When I was walking in here at 9 o'clock, I already saw him just lugging around equipment in like shorts and like a sleeveless shirt, just getting ready for the premiere at 10.
Getting pumped.
Yeah, they had the second showing of the Guru.
Yeah, he is not the smallest guy in the world, so I'm sure he had a part in the Guru.
Oh yeah, probably. But yeah, so that one's, you said, was Savage, right?
Savage, yeah.
That's
premiere tonight at 6:30.
Mm-hmm. Are they doing a second showing, or is it?
I only saw the one.
Okay. I know there's a couple movies that have like two showings.
Yeah, I know the Guru has
showings.
2. I think Corin Nemec's like Kevin Sorbo, Dean Cain movie has 2 showings this weekend. I'm not sure about Savage. We'll definitely have Doug and Brian on, and hopefully Ben on this weekend. So
and Tony Armour, the founder of this festival. We just met up with him for a minute. He'll be jumping on at some point.
He saw us eating our AMC breakfast, which
for
me was nachos, and for Gavin was very expensive sliders.
That nice, healthy 5,000 calorie.
Hey, according to the board,
$3.
it only said 800.
Yeah, right.
The problem is I also had a hot dog, so I'm up to 1600.
800 per chip.
Yeah.
And one dip.
Yeah.
You dipped twice, and you ate every chip.
Oh, God, what have we done?
Yeah, don't dip twice.
You just gained 17,000 pounds. So anyway, but we'll keep you guys up to date, but just wanted to say hello and get an official run for the Sunscreen Film Festival. Day 2 is Friday. Things are kicking off. It's only 10:48 now, so it's just beginning. We got a lot of stuff to cover, so stay with us, and we'll talk to you then. For Movie Talks and Chill, we're your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I'm Gavin Butts.
Patrick Wall.
All right, guys, take care. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Movie Talks and Chill. We're your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I'm Gavin Butts.
I'm Patrick Wall.
And our special guest here.
Hey, I'm Kyle Franklin.
And Kyle, what are you here promoting?
I'm the founder of Moshe Boga.
Nice.
Moshe Boga is a universal streaming service TV guide. So it's like Just Watch in that you can launch all of the movies and shows on all of your streaming services from a single app. And it is actually through a data partnership with Just Watch that I have all of that. But it's actually more than that because it's also based on the belief that the best recommendations just come directly from your friends, and that picking movies and shows alone, like, I just disagree with the way that I interact with streaming services. I sit down, I click them, I'm looking at these generic lists of what's trending and like what's recommended to me by an algorithm, and it's alone, and I'm like, like picking movies and watching movies is like drinking beer. Like it's more fun when you're with friends, and the beer tastes better when you're drinking it with other people who enjoy it as well.
Yep.
When you're drinking it alone, the beer just doesn't taste as good. And it's the same thing. I love movies, I love shows, and I was like, why? Like, I want to watch what my friends are watching, that we can talk about it. I want to watch it with them, and even though I'm not watching it with them, I want to just talk to them about it afterwards. So now I just open up Moshe Boga. I saw, for example, I was thinking about watching Banshees of Inisherin, but I hadn't actually seen it. My buddy Carl Merritt wrote a review for it and recommended it, and I literally just opened Moshe Boga, saw that he recommended it, and I was on Max, and I went, oh, okay, I'm going to watch that right now, and I just played it. Because that's how it should actually be, is just displaying the ratings and recommendations of your friends and sending chats about it with them inside the app. So I made it.
That would be great, because one of the guys that I work with, me and him both liked Halo series, and so I've already watched the second series. He didn't even know the second one was out yet. I was like, where have you been? Like, catch up. I can't talk to you about it yet.
I know. I didn't even know that Killing Eve, I was like really into watching Killing Eve with my wife, and we didn't even realize that there were 4 seasons all of a sudden. Like, we just like forgot about it, like, for somehow. And we were like, oh, we really like that show. That was a wild ride.
No, that's awesome, man. I kind of feel like this is an app version of me. Because whenever I'm out and about, everybody who knows me, I've been a cinephile for a long time.
Yep.
I've made movies in the past.
That's definitely
and everything.
one way to put it.
Yeah. So, but everybody's always like, you sit around, hey Tony, what should I watch tonight? Hey Tony, what should I do tonight?
Yeah.
What's good tonight? If it's a horror and it was like something, I'm like, what do you want? 80s, 90s? What genre do you want? So, but that's awesome. I like that idea. That's great. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a simple idea, and it's social media meets a universal streaming service guide, but I've been very careful and very strategic, and I'm making improvements on it right now with future updates that I'm working on, to basically mitigate all of the negative aspects of social media while taking advantage of the positive aspects. Like, for example, I'm structuring the whole app so I don't even have to worry about content moderation, because I'm actually putting this entire thing inside of a WhatsApp. So it's basically going to be a WhatsApp chat where you can group chat with friends, individual chat with friends, send each other movies that you can launch from your chat, but it also has your profile. It has everything that's here, but also a chat, because the truth is I like writing reviews sometimes, and I like making lists sometimes, but I really like just speaking one-on-one with friends and saying, hey, I saw this movie, it made me think of you, I think you might watch it. And if you send it to them in a chat, it'll just load it into a list of movies that have been sent to them and who it's by. And I'm going to make an app for your TV that synchronizes with it, so that you can just go on your TV and movies that people have sent you in your chat on Moshe Boga will be on your TV, and you can launch it there too.
That was going to be one of my questions. I'm assuming we can download this on Google Play and Apple Store right now.
It's on Google and Apple right now for iPhones, Androids, and tablets and iPads, but there's no smart TV app.
Yeah, okay. So I was going to ask, like, are you working with Roku or something like that?
Yeah, that was going to be my question.
I need to get a smart TV app so that we can put this on Roku and Apple TVs, etc., Samsung. We get it on there so that it synchronizes with what's happening on your phone, and then we put this whole thing with a chat where you're sending people recommendations that go into lists automatically just by you sending it to direct friends, and like, there you go.
Well, so if I open the movie in Moshe Boga, but it would actually pull up like HBO Max and start playing it on that application, right?
If you hit play now, if you open the movie, there's a whole dedicated movie page with ratings, and I show you all ratings and ratings from just people you follow, because I was like, the Rotten, it's kind of funny, I made this, one of my first inspirations of this is I disagree with number and star rating systems, because I just don't know what they mean. Like 8.5 out of 10, 3.5 stars out of 5. It just, I find it very confusing and skewed based on what somebody's arbitrary number scale is. And what they're even talking about. Like, are they talking about, like, was the writing good? Was the acting good? What was it about it that you liked?
That's what I was going to ask. It's not like there's, like, 7 different star ratings, like, for cinematography, for storyline, for acting, for writing.
It's a bonus thing I'm planning on making where you can get into the nitty-gritty on these, but not yet. But it's like I'm just going with I disliked it, it was okay, I liked it, and I loved it. And then you have supplementals. It made me laugh, it made me cry. I'd rewatch it, and I would recommend
I'll give it 5 stars up until the ending, then that's 1 star.
That would actually be funny. I was like, I wonder if I should make it so people can make custom ratings, where it's like I have like 5 like, you know, writing, acting, like cinematography, and then have like a add one where you can just make up a rating. Like just that would actually
they
be
nailed
hilarious.
the costumes, but the monologue was terrible.
Yeah. Well, so I always, the guys can tell you, I'm always like a technical person, so I like to get into that portion of it. So it sounds like a pretty big building project. Like, how long did it take you to design this thing?
Well, so first off, I had the idea in 2014 for a movie review site that matches you with other people based on your ratings.
Okay.
Because back in 2014, I was like, this just doesn't make any sense that I'm looking at reviews and this person might hate all of the things that I love and might like the things that I don't like. So then their review isn't actually for me. So I thought of a matching for movie reviews, and I have that on here. It shows you if you're a high match, medium match, low match, and you can actually see the percentage, like 85% rating similarity on 300 movies with this person. You can see all of that.
That sounds a little bit like OkCupid. Like,
OkCupid for finding a movie to watch.
Yes. I'm in. Like, I'm downloading this right now.
Thank you. Thank you. And so that was my first idea, and I started trying to make it for about a month and a half by myself, and then when I realized how hard it was going to be, I gave up, and I moved. I quit. I was at a law firm, and I quit my job, and I moved to Maine, and I became a lobster fisherman for 7 years.
That is a big change right there.
I was in Boston at a law firm, and I realized I'd gone out of college, and I realized everything I had done was a mistake. And I moved to Maine, and I became a lobster fisherman. And so you can watch my YouTube video. I have some YouTube videos at Philosophy Dive Bar on Instagram and YouTube, but offshore lobster fishing on YouTube was got like a 750,000 views, which is cool. It's like a 6-minute video of the boat. It's like an 80-foot steel boat. We go out like 200 miles offshore, and we catch like tens of thousands of pounds of lobster. It's
nice.
So I did that, and basically just kind of thought about my life and what I should be doing, and got the confidence to try this again. And I started in 2020, and so it's been 4 years.
Nice.
It's been 4 years to get to this point right now, and
that's actually not that bad, though. I mean, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
In the tech world, I mean, even
I had naive idealism in the beginning and thought I would be here quite a while ago, and now that it's been 4 years, I'm realizing, it's a 10-year. It's 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, this is straight up 10 years, and I'm a little bit. It almost makes me sad when I see other sites. Like, I see like new apps popping up that imitate some of the features I have, but I think they don't do it. I think they don't understand the problem well enough, so I think they all mess them up, which I'm like, okay. But they're making things, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's people simultaneously trying to solve this problem, and it is a little bit of a race, and it makes me nervous because I don't have money and I am alone, pretty much. I've actually got there's actually 4 other guys that I work with on this.
Okay.
So there's 3 of them are in Washington and 1 of them's in Idaho.
All right.
And they're great guys, and I've been working on with them from the very beginning. So it's all 5 of us.
Nice.
And so that's basically, with the 5 of us together, we can do it. And might need to find some funding to help get the next leg. We'll see.
Well, that's a good thing too. I mean, you're in a great place here for networking. I mean, for stuff like that. I mean, this film festival. That's one thing that a lot of people have said. It's not only just it's fun, it's great. It's a lot of good information, but there's great networking contacts even for stuff that you wouldn't normally like. It's film festival, but like you could possibly find someone to network to do financing for this type of idea because it's about film. And that's what this whole thing's about.
I'm astonished by the positivity and the optimism that I'm seeing at this film festival. I mean, I'm meeting all of these people who have worked so hard to make all of these products, and they're excited to show them to each other, and they're excited to learn about each other's products.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here, just today, this board game, High Noon, they have all these expansion packs, and I'm sending it to my brother-in-law and my friends. They're all super hardcore board game guys, and I play board games with them, and they're always introducing me new stuff, and I'm like, this is really cool that this person who lives in Jacksonville made this whole board game series with all books or the story. I mean, it's incredible.
The amount of depth that he put behind it is astonishing.
Like, this is a serious,
it's got lore.
It's an achievement.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he worked as hard on that. I mean, I just can't even imagine. Like, that's a very seriously dedicated effort, and I'm meeting all kinds of people here who are like that, and it honestly it gives me a lot of hope. It really actually, like, I'm feeling really good talking to these people and seeing that we're all on the same trajectory together, and it's actually succeeding. Like, these people are succeeding.
It's not like Machiavellian backstabbing, I'm going to steal your idea, screw you. It's like, I'm going to help you so you can help me sooner or later.
Yeah.
Like, they're building each other up.
Probably one of our best interview, or at least my favorite interview from last year. We had a lot of great interviews, but we had a high school troupe up here who had their movie show, and you could just see like the starry eyes, and that like they felt so inspired that their movie was here.
Yeah.
And then we asked them to come up. They were like just so excited to be here. It's like, we're just a local podcast. It's okay. This isn't LA 20 or something.
And even like filmmaker to filmmaker, these guys come up to each other, and it's not like, obviously everybody wants to win or you want to get best picture and everything, but regardless of the outcome, is everybody's interest about everybody else's movies.
Yes.
And that's what everybody has probably said, that you were the same as everybody else. Everyone said this is like just the energy and like the attitude at this film festival they've never seen really at any other festival. It's a lot of them are very competitive and very cutthroat, and
really.
A lot of the other ones.
This is my first, so I've never seen any others.
Oh yeah, well I've been to a few. But this one, it's a very relaxed atmosphere, and it's very calm. But like I tell everybody the same thing that they tell us, Their tagline motto is, it's a film festival by filmmakers for filmmakers. So even a lot of the volunteers and people that are at the desk downstairs, a lot of those people are working on films outside of this.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody is part of the industry in one way or another. So it's really kind of cool to see that energy.
Yeah, and coming here and seeing all these people with all this hard work they've done on these films, and then seeing some of these films and being really astonished, I was working on this for all these reasons, but until I actually showed up here, I didn't understand the power of that. I'm making a product where I can actually try to help these films promote themselves.
Yes.
Because the people who are standing in lines and filling up these theaters right now, I mean, they can go and give ratings and rate reviews for these films that don't have any presence on the internet right now, because they're brand new films and festival, and they can get buzz going and generate some traffic, so that when they go to streaming services, for example, they can showcase their platform here, and then when it's on the streaming service, that'll show up here and people can watch from here too. And it's like, I'm really interested in how I can help films basically gain prestige and promote themselves using the tool that I've made. And I was just talking to somebody about more brainstorming that I could do for actually how I could build special features for filmmakers here to leverage this.
So that was going to be my next question. I know like you're aggregating like HBO Max, Netflix, Amazon, all that fun stuff, but say one of the local films here, would they be able to upload it directly to your platform and people could watch it there, or does it have to be on one of the bigger platforms?
I see. Yeah, I myself, Moshiboga is itself not a streaming platform.
Okay.
I was thinking yesterday, I was talking to some short filmmakers, and I'm trying to right now get all the filmmakers to know that we can build a full page for all of their short films on Moshiboga. And some of them I already have pages for former films that they've made that are on streaming services. But they can be on this whether they're on a streaming service or not. So I'm making sure they know that and helping them build pages. But when I think about Moshiboga being a streaming platform, and I'm trying to understand, first I have to find the legality of that, because of the fact that I'm a TV guide. Can I have my own streaming content, or would that void some sort of, because I have an official license partnership with these streaming services, that these are affiliate links, this is a monetized official thing, that if I'm putting things in, they might feel not so happy about that. But short films are this, I think, this is a little bit counter to what people are saying right now, because everybody says it's either about shows or full features, or it's like 1 minute TikTok videos. There's no attention right now for 8 or 10 or 15-minute short films. But what if short films are like in their pre-pickleball? You know what I mean? Like pickleball, I had never even really heard about pickleball, and it exploded in like the last year and a half because it was this lion in the wait. Like it was ready, but people just didn't know. And I'm wondering if there's gonna be a time, and it's coming ahead of us, where there's the right moment for a streaming platform to really launch the artistic, the artistic medium of short film, and that it will actually be very successful. And what if Moshe Boga could be that? At least I could work with short film streaming platforms and try to help promote their content on Moshe Boga, so that while people are looking at Netflix and other things, I could actually promote short film platforms that would mix in, so I could try to get more attention on them.
I think also because most short films don't have like distribution, so I think that's when the legality really kicks in. Is if they don't have a distribution deal and you set up a contract with that individual person in their short film. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but if I remember correctly, as long as you set that up and you don't have a preset deal, you should be able to run that platform that way. There is, after we're done here, maybe offline.
Because the streaming services are paying into Moshe Bogo, if I'm correct.
They don't pay. I get affiliate through it, but I'm essentially advertising their content.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so that's where I think he's trying to get. But there's no market for short films on most of those platforms.
Not yet.
Exactly.
And there's not a market until you create the market. That's the beauty thing. But once the market gets created, it gets flooded. As long as you're the first to really create that market, you can control it and monopolize it. Not monopolize it, but you would have everybody else would then be a carbon copy. You know what I'm saying? And but when we're offline, after we're done recording the show here, there is a person, I'll give you a name of and some contact info, and she was actually working on setting up a channel on Roku, a streaming service, where she gets people to put their content. So like we're
she might actually be here this weekend.
What's that?
She might actually be here this weekend.
She might be. So I'll get you that. But she knows about setting that kind of stuff up and everything. So, and she basically takes anything, like people with movies or shows, or even us. Like we were talking to her, she wanted us to be a podcast on there. She's like, do you have video content? Which we started last year, doing video as well as audio. But because of that, it's just a contract directly to her, and then how that works outside, I don't know, but that's maybe someone you might want to talk to.
I would absolutely love to talk to her, because I think that there's one thing that's really interesting about the market for streaming services is that it does appear that subscription-based streaming platforms have peaked. I mean, of course, we know that this is true almost just given the fact that Netflix now has a cheaper subscription with ads. I mean, the dynamic, there's almost like a reverting back to, ad-based TV. FAST and AVID is the acronyms for these free advertised subscriptions, advertised supported television, and like Tubi and Pluto and these sorts of things.
And I saw that Disney was going to start reverting to channels again.
Really?
That they have for Star Wars, for Marvel, for Discovery.
So we need to pay $5 for each channel.
Right.
That's a little bit weird.
So I'm like, wait a minute. So you guys are going back to what you wanted to get people away from. Like they're trying to create not just freeform, but like a whole Disney network now.
It's tough. If our ad-based streaming television an avenue for short films, and that would create split profits between a streaming service and the filmmakers, that could be a model for short films to get in, because it's lower cost because no money has actually exchanged hands. It's all based on shared profits, and based on the quantity of viewership, that's going to impact server space. So you're talking about cost of compute. So if everything is variable, but in this way, and subject to whether people are watching and the ads, then maybe that's a viable model to get short films in the market. I don't know.
I mean, it's great. I mean, the first thing that pops into my head is like if you could create, integrate that or what you already have going, or create that specific thing that's streaming for short films, like just call it like Quick Shots or something. That would be like a short film streaming site. So because you're not doing like a regular. If you're perusing a movie, let's say you're sitting around the house, you're like, what, I don't really know what I want to watch, but you see an interesting title, okay, that's something, but you don't know what it is, or it's an indie film. Not all indie films are high budget, very low budget. After about 5-10 minutes, if you're not into it, you just shut it off. But with a short film, that's the 5-10 minutes. You've been able to at least, and then it could count for those numbers. As like a lot of streaming things go by time frame. How long did people watch it for? Well, a person watches it for 10 minutes, and that's the full length of the short. They could get higher ratings because of that. Like, so many people finished it. If I'm making sense with that, so basically their views would go up because it'll show that like 100% of people watch the entire thing. Or like with a regular movie that's an hour and a half long, if people shut it off after 20 minutes, say 100% of people watched up to 20 minutes, 80% watched up to 30 minutes, and then it drops down to 20% watch, and then a lot of people look at that rating, they're like, I don't think I want to watch it then. If out of all these people they dropped out of this, probably not a good movie. But a short film, it's quick, you watch it, call it Quick Shots, and be done.
I like that name, Quick Shots, and I like...
You can have it, by the way.
We could have a Quick Shots. We could actually have... It would be... Yeah, I could have a tab that's just Quick Shots, and it's Yeah, I could actually... So the...
TikTok for movies.
Yeah, so, but before I came back to the festival this morning, I was, listening to some upbeat music that, puts me in a mood, and... sometimes I rewatch films that I've already seen 20 times just for little bits of it and things like this, and don't even necessarily rewatch the entire film, but specific scenes from it. And it makes me wonder that a metric for short films or Quick Shots could be rewatchability, because the thing is that a short film that's 5 to 10 minutes or something could be the kind of thing that people watch many times over the course of 10 years, for example, because it captures a feeling that they can only get there, just like I capture a feeling in a song that I can only get by returning to that song. And that's what Spotify, if you think about, you look at songs on YouTube and Spotify, and they have, millions and millions of listens, and it's like, well, how many of that is really just 100,000 people listening to that song 10 times? Or 20 times? Sometimes I can listen to a song so many times, and short films might be more like music in that way. And so thinking about them like music might be the proper way to evaluate them and to monetize them. And that could be powerful, because if nobody has figured out the proper business model for short films, and if I start going after short filmmakers and making Moshe Boga the home for them to integrate with all of the major streaming services, and then I get people going back because they want to recap, they want to feel that feeling again, then that could change everything. And that's a 10-year plan. And this is a 20-year plan.
Nice. You saw it here first, folks.
Well, the other nice thing too about it is, like you talked about, if you go into the profit sharing margin, where it's basically we don't get paid unless you get paid, that type of mentality, then there's no risk for the filmmaker,
right?
Like you're not like a PR person that they're paying, or a distribution play. We've interviewed a very specific person, but multiple people that talk about distribution and some of the big pains and headaches they've had with distribution companies, and how you get not nearly what you're promised, and you put a lot into it. But if you go into something, especially people who make short films probably don't have money. They're scraping by just to make that short film. Now they have a platform to display their films or their content. They don't have to worry about putting out more money to get it displayed, and they may possibly make something from it in the end. So, at the end of the day, I think that sounds like a great model to me.
Yeah, I just need to check to make sure that with my data license for the streaming services that there's no conflict, and which if I'm showing short films, they probably don't care anyways. And then I just need to make sure that the cost of running the films is less than the revenue of playing the films, and so that's pretty much. And I don't even need to have a no competition with the short filmmakers. It could be the kind of thing where it's like, we'll put you, if you get into the Sunscreen Film Festival, you're automatically, I could use them as the way of picking what films go on.
That's a great partnership.
Due diligence for you.
The due diligence could be film festivals themselves that I partner with, and that by getting picked, they automatically go in, and there could be no competition. There could be a no competition where basically if they're on Moshiboga, they can still sell to any other streaming services.
Yeah.
It could create problems with those other streaming services that they're already on Moshiboga, but I have no reason to. I'm like a very optimistic person. I believe that like as long as you give everybody ownership over the work and the product and the things that you do, and you just make sure your numbers are balanced,
that sounds
you're
like
fine.
a problem, not a Moshiboga problem.
It's not a Moshiboga problem. Like it's like all employees have them vested in equity so that the employees of Moshiboga actually own Moshiboga. That's a no-brainer. You have to do that because if you don't have people that are working on the product owning the product, then it's just not theirs. It's not the right way to do things. And that's exactly the way that the model should be if we do quick shots. It's a no-brainer.
Yep. I love win-wins. Those are great. I mean, they're the best kind of situations.
Yeah, it's the beauty of voluntary negotiation that everybody's collaborating of their own free will and accord.
Right.
And the other nice thing too is if they click on if you have the short film database or streaming service and they click on it, it could also be added if they won at a film festival for something. That could be a little on the little tag in there. Best picture at the Sunscreen Film Festival in 2024, and whatever other film festivals or wherever else it's been at.
Accolades of where they've shown and what awards
it's no different than a movie poster or a movie Blu-ray. On the bottom it always says winner of Sundance, or best picture at Sundance or whatever. But
absolutely,
I think you're onto something. So I think that's an awesome idea.
Wow, I really like that name, Quick Shots. That's a fun one. Moshiboga's Quick Shots.
There you go.
Brought to you by Tony.
There you go. All right. That sounds even better, man.
Brought to you by Movie Talks and Chill.
Yeah. Yes, ask me Movie Talks.
Now we're never going to get Tony's head through the front door.
Down the goddamn stairwell. I have one last question. Where did you come up with the name Moshiboga? I'm assuming there's a good story behind that one.
Yeah, so the first name I had was Movie Shelf. Because I was like, I want you to have a movie shelf. It's like I have a movie shelf, and there's a nostalgia to your movie shelf.
Yeah.
But I either couldn't get the URL or I can't even remember anymore because it was like 4 years ago. But then I thought of another name, Digmo, Digital Movies. I don't know why. But it's like a clothing company in Germany or something. And then basically every URL I thought of or looked at was very expensive or taken for something. And I was like, okay, I'm going to need to just invent my own word. So I invented my own word, and the way that I came up with it is it's actually movies, shows, books, games.
Ah, nice.
And so what my thinking was, so I started with only movies, now I have all shows. It could have all books and all video games. It could literally be all of them and all podcasts and all... I could just keep expanding. I don't know if that's a good idea because
I like the idea. Can I give you the $2 in cash I have in my wallet as an investment for putting video games on this list?
As an investment.
Because video games, I was like, we could literally.
I would be all about rating and reviewing video games on any platform.
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing because I don't spend time on Twitch, but I know Twitch is the video game streaming place. But it's like. Yeah, we could totally just swap movies with video games and run everything almost the same. Instead of streaming services, it would be where you can buy them, which is available. I mean, it's all clickable link. Like, we could literally do this and, it would be a slightly different in nature, but it's like you could find video games, you could find podcasts, you could find books, and we just changed the way that you interact with all of these storytelling mediums. Because that's why I came up with, because movies, shows, books, and games are all storytelling mediums.
Yes. Yes.
And my concern when I started Moshiboga was that I think there's something wrong with the way that we're engaging with story on the internet, and that people haven't found the right way yet, which makes sense because we've only had the internet for a few decades. I mean, it's a little technical, but people have only been making social medias for a couple decades, and it's like, think about thousands of years of the evolution of human language, and when you think about the tools that people have discovered over the course of thousands of years using human language to do things like construct mathematical proofs, to create scientific publications and journals and peer reviewing. And if you look at the internet, you'll notice that the mechanics of proof verification and feedback and all of these things that are on the internet, right, that people do in natural language, none of these things have technological applications where the application itself is actually a virtual embodiment of the mechanics of the language. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it with movies and shows and books and games and and just figure it out there. And I don't have it yet, but
something tells me you'll get there.
I will. Yeah, it's called Tidbits.
Okay.
It's a new wiki engine, and it's going to be called Tidbits, and it's going to be a way to find out information about movies and shows. Like when you see a movie or show and it says based on a true story.
How much?
Is it really?
Is it just the title?
Or is it loosely based? It's loosely based.
It's so weird to me that you see these movies that are based on a true story. I want to see the bibliography. Yeah. I want to see that the filmmakers went to the Library of Congress and they were pulling these old photographs of the people in the 20s or the Wright brothers with their, and I want to see all of that. I want to know everywhere that they got it from, all of the verification of that information. I want to know when they have dialogue, if they pulled that from somebody's diary. I want to know all of the source material.
Yeah.
It's really weird to me that doesn't already exist. And the closest thing to it is if you go to Reddit and there's movie details, there's a subreddit called Movie Details. People post little factoids that are just little Easter eggs, here's this, and people go, oh, cool, and they talk about it. That to me is inspirational. I love that, and people have that desire. That market is there for people to build proofs of things. They just don't have a platform to do it yet because the internet just hasn't evolved to that point yet.
Or possibly if there's any other like documentaries like on the movie itself. Like I remember watching one of Tom Hanks' movies, Bridge of Spies.
Oh yeah.
Had a really nice, cool documentary, like 30-minute after the film of these things actually happened, and they showed pictures of like what the Kremlin looked in 1950 on how in the movie and how they recreated it. It was almost like a mirror image, so it was really cool, like to see a lot of those behind the scenes makings and like how they captured those photos. In this movie, they actually did go to like congressional photos and stuff from back in the time. So it was really neat to watch all that unfold.
Costume designers. Can you imagine the costume designers for films? I mean, these people are academics. Like, costume designers are like, these people are hardcore. And they don't quite shine. That's one thing about Moshe Boga that I'm trying to get more focus on. People like that and writers, for example, too. Because, so right now, I haven't made it public yet, but when you rate movies, we assign, based on your rating, we actually assign points to the actors, writers, and directors of the film. So if you're liking movies, we assign positive points for the actors, writers, and directors, and we get stats on them for you so that we have your rankings of your favorite writers, directors, and actors. And I'm going to make it so that when you go to your profile, you can actually go through and see, oh, this one person who I never heard their name before wrote 4 of my favorite movies. I didn't know this. And you can actually just go to their page, and we actually already base the algorithm off of this. So the For You algorithm is we actually just compile all of the stats of your voting positively for actors, writers, and directors, and we just show you other things that they're involved in.
Okay.
And basically, I'll make a stats page for that, but it's like bringing writers, for example, a little bit more into the world's attention so people can see what writers are doing, and I'd like to know what costume designers, what their thought process is, and it's a really fun like Shogun. I'm watching Shogun right now, and I'm like, I'm ready to sign up for a college course. I want to know what's going on. Like, I want to know everything about what this is based on, because these people are working hard.
So it's also like set designers too. Watching what set designers do. I mean, they make some incredible things. I mean, but you think about it, you're like, okay, I got this room. I've got to make it look like, I don't know, downtown New York City in 1929. Like, then you got to go back and you got to think of the work that you have to put into that, just to,
create historical pieces.
Just finding all the information and like finding old photos and matching this way, and that cobblestone had this, or this brownstone house had a chip in the brick right here. Do you put that in there? So some of those are like so in detail that it's amazing to watch, and I'm like, that's a hard job. I mean, it's very gratifying, but at the same time, nobody's paying attention to that name and that credit in the 18,000 credits that are going through in the 3 minutes that the credits are rolling. Everybody sees the first couple things, the director, sometimes the producer, depending on how they put the credits, but they're looking at the actors' names.
And that's where that's where my 20-year goal, but hopefully it's going to be 10 years, is to make it so that Moshe Boga, because even when I see the competition, like when I see like people kind of making features like what I have over here, and new stuff's coming out, I'm not really worried about it, because my long-term vision is very into Moshe Boga's where people are going to go to learn about all this stuff. Like it's just going to be the Wikipedia of all movies and shows. It's just going to be, and it's going to be that you go there. Like, I'm making all these features and doing all these things, and they're all really fun, and I like them. And it's going to be inside this basically WhatsApp container that you can have group chats with your friends and send each other movies you can launch on your TV, even though you're on your phone. Like, you can launch it from your TV, like all this stuff. But I'm like, I'm going to win because people are going to go here to learn about the stuff that they watch.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the only place that they can really do that. And it's not going to be spammy. Like, every movie set I go to is like pop-up videos and pop-up ads. And I'm like, I will never do that. I just care too much about Moshe Boga to put that garbage on there. So
we appreciate that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
No, but that's awesome, man. Want to just thank you for joining us. We appreciate. I learned a lot, actually. There's a lot of information. I'm excited about this. I'll be downloading when we're done here, and then offline, like I said, I'll get you that information, or if you have an email, I can just forward it to you. Talk to that woman about like the legality portion stuff, and overall, just good luck with everything, and hope you stay in touch with us. We'll give you our card and our info. You keep us updated on how it's going, and then we could definitely get on there, and we look forward to it. So
thank you very much,
guys. For the audience, we'll be back at Sunscreen Film Festival. This is still day number 2. Got a lot of day left, got a lot of weekend left, a lot of exciting things, a lot of great interviews so far, and great more to come. So until then, for Movie Talks and Chill, we are your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I'm Gavin Butts.
I'm Patrick Wall.
And our special guest,
Kyle Franklin, founder of Moshe Boga.
All right, guys, take care. All right, everybody, welcome back to Movie Talks and Chill, Sunscreen Film Festival, still day 2. On our next interview, we are your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I'm Gavin Butts.
I'm Patrick Wall.
And if you'd like to introduce yourself, sir.
I am Tarek Abraham.
All right, and Tarek, so what brings you to Sunscreen Film Festival, and what are you working on?
So I met a man named Dwight a few weeks ago at another conference, and he was like, hey, you got to come out to this film festival in Florida. Just if you can figure out how to get to Florida, I'm from LA. If you figure out how to get to Florida, then we got you with a VIP ticket. I was like, I can't miss that opportunity.
No. And you said you didn't film here, but you have a film. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, like you said, I don't have a film here at Sunscreen, but I worked on a project a couple years ago called The Life of a Hoodie. Right now we're submitting it to festivals and kind of at that stage with everything. Mm-hmm. And soon enough, it will be released to the public. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just the life of a hoodie. So you're watching the story unfold from the perspective of a hoodie as it gets handed down. Like, the boyfriend gives it to the girlfriend, and from there on out.
And then he never sees it again.
Yes.
You might be surprised.
Oh.
You might be surprised.
So that's interesting. So we're actually talking about an actual hoodie that you wear, like a hoodie sweatshirt.
Just like this.
Just like that. All right. So that's an interesting idea. I don't think I've ever seen that one before.
Yeah, it was kind of a frustration fueled by having not gotten a hoodie return. Like, this would be a great film. It's mostly silent. We were surprised on set on one of the days. There was a date scene, and I kind of had the actors like make up dialogue so that their mouths were actually moving, but the dialogue they had was so good that I ended up keeping it in the film.
Nice.
But besides that scene, entirely silent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, shot on 16mm film, so old-fashioned.
Old school.
So just hearing this description, it's reminding me of a movie called Rubber. It's an old independent movie from the early 2000s.
I have not seen it.
It's about a discarded tire who just gets psychic powers, and nobody talks. It just goes around killing people.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. I need to check it out.
Wow.
Rubber.
Yes. So Life of
Well,
a
I'm
Hoodie.
assuming the hoodie
Life of a
kills
Hoodie
people.
Part 2. Yeah, the hoodie just comes self-aware and starts strangling people.
Yeah. Trying to make his way back to the owner.
Well, we just
Who's the real target?
we actually just recently, a couple weeks ago, we had an interview via Zoom from another gentleman from LA. Their PR company found our show on one of the platforms, and the guy liked us, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are kind of funny." So he had just done this movie called Hanky Panky, and it's about a handkerchief.
And a killer hat.
And a killer hat. Yeah.
Voiced by Seth Green.
By who?
Seth Green.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know him, unfortunately.
You ever
You know
seen
Seth
Robot
Green?
Chicken?
Huh?
Robot Chicken?
I know of the show, yeah.
Idle Hands?
He's basically a guy about my height with red hair, a little skinnier, pale skin. He's been in like Buffy the Vampire
If I
Slayer, the
saw
TV
him,
show.
I probably would know him.
Yeah.
I'm so bad with names like that.
You ever seen Family Guy?
Yeah, of course.
He voices Chris.
Yeah, he voices Chris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know that
Yeah.
voice.
So just I want to throw that in there because we watched it and he's like, here's our screener. So he gave it to us before it went live, and it's very unique, very interesting, really funny though, and a quirky guy. But he's from LA as well. But so we're not used to inanimate object movies, if I can say it that way.
For sure.
So how long is this film? Like, what's the length of it?
Including credits, it's a little over 11 minutes.
Okay.
So
So it's a short film.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Very
right.
short.
Well, that's and they say so at the film festival here. The guys that run it, and they have to screen all the films that get submitted, and they have a lot of them are short films. They're like the best advice I can give people trying to do short films. People think short film, they think like 30, 45 minutes. They're like, no, keep it short. If you can do like 5-10 minutes, maybe a few minutes more, between 5 and 15, I think he said that's like the best time frame for short film.
Yeah, the script was like 6 pages total, and we just I'm one of those directors that prefers to like play it out in the scene rather than write it out on the script, and I just we were able to get 2 minutes out of each page. So.
Nice. Yeah, because I used to work in film stuff, and I say like the industry rule of thumb is usually like a page per minute, page per minute screened.
Page,
yeah. And then that's what we were talking to that other director about, and I said, because he's like, yeah, I didn't really follow that rule.
I kind of wrote the script more like a beat sheet. Initially, there wasn't a script, and then the producer I brought on, he kind of had some fighting words with me about not having a script. So I was like, all right, I'll just put it on paper for your sake, and yeah.
Well, especially too when you say 6 pages, but you said there's almost no dialogue or very little dialogue in it, so you're basically writing just visionary is what you're writing. So 1 page of visionary could take multiple minutes just to get through, whether it's like pan outside, scene here, close up of this, guy making coffee, whatever it may be.
Exactly.
That takes time. So you usually with those type films, yes, you do not follow
It's
the
a
rule of
cool
thumb.
winter morning.
Yeah.
A lonely hoodie is sipping its morning coffee.
It reads the Financial Times and just says, fuck.
Man, the price of siblings is going up.
Look at those thread counts. I can't afford to go to a doctor right now.
Or it gets like washed one too many times, and then it's like sitting there and starts getting some wear in it, and then you just see like a close up of the sleeve and a drop of water drip off like a tear.
Yeah, that would be funny.
To repair itself and just like staples it together. Pulls a John Wick at the end. Just staples.
Oh, that's funny.
So is this your first movie you've directed?
That's my first movie, period.
Oh, first movie.
Okay.
Period. Oh, that's
I
great.
didn't really have a huge hand in producing, but I did a lot of, I helped out a lot with the producing, but I wrote and directed it. I
Okay.
also DP'd it because I didn't know anyone who could work with film.
Okay.
So I wore a lot of hats. I also edited it, also out of necessity. So
Yep.
this is kind of how the first project goes.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to make this film? From start to finish?
So I had the idea, let's say, April of 2020, and we started production in October
2020?
And then post-production, because we had a completely original score, since initially the vision was to have for it to be a silent film. So my thought process when I was working on it was that the score needs to be like, you know how back in the day there would just be an organist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was kind
at
of
the bottom of the stage or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of my vision for the score, but it also needed to be the grounding element, because if you were just watching it with no music, I didn't even like that version, you know what I mean? So my brother, actually, he's a composer, and he did the score for me. That took a year or two.
Okay.
And then there were some iterations of the final cut. We thought about adding sound design since it was mostly silent, but we were like, it works better without it. And then we did ADR on the dialogue scene for some of the lines that didn't come out good, and that ended up taking 2 years of post-production.
Oh, okay.
So we started submitting, I think December.
Oh,
this
wow.
last December to festivals. So
Damn.
Nice.
yeah, it was a process, but it didn't need to be that process. But it did what it
You'd be
was.
I've
surprised.
heard of
You'd be
movies
surprised.
taking much longer.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised. Even people who are well-seasoned filmmakers, that process still could take a long time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, depending on where you're trying to get to. So, what are some of the festivals you've submitted to?
Oh, I've submitted to all the big ones. Sundance. I didn't know about Sunscreen until it was too late, unfortunately.
There's always next year.
Always next.
Because you can always resubmit the same film if you want.
Sometimes they're strict about it. Like, I submitted to one thinking that I was submitting for the 2023 cycle, but I was actually submitting for the 2024 cycle.
Okay.
There was like a production cutoff date. So like, if your film ended post-production on a certain date or later, then you're disqualified. I accidentally got disqualified from that one.
I don't think they have that
So
rule. I'm not going to
that's
pretend
awesome.
to speak for them, but
As
I'm
far as I
pretty
know, as
sure.
long as you have a final product before the submission end date, they will take you into
They'll take it.
consideration.
Yeah, so
Right.
and submissions usually start in like June or July. So right after this,
Right
in a
here,
couple
yeah.
months, just go to the Sunscreen website. I think they go through Film Freeway, if I'm correct
that's
on
where
that.
I did everything.
Yeah, so you go through them, but you know we also have your contact. So if you want, because we know a lot of the guys that run the film festival, they come and join our show outside of the film festival, like throughout the year, and they give us updates, and we help promote Sunscreen as well. So they start telling us, hey, you know, submissions start now. So when that happens, we can let you know.
Yeah, please do.
Yep.
Please do.
Because it is we love it, but what's your experience been here so far?
I got here this morning, so I'm like, this is hour 4, maybe, of being
Yep,
at
yep.
the festival.
Right off the boat.
Yeah, literally. I flew in from LA last night, slept on the plane, woke up, and I'm here. You know what I mean?
Well, I say next year, if you come back next year, you got to make sure you're here on Thursday at 5:30 because that's the red carpet kickoff, and then they have a really fun after party. But it's like glitz and glamour out there. You know, it feels like, well, you're from LA, so it would feel like you're actually in
feels like
the Hollywood
you're home.
version. Yeah, basically. I mean, it's nothing but cameras and fancy dresses and, you know,
It's a little
tuxes
bit
and
more
everything.
humidity.
It's really cool.
Yeah, my schedule has been so hectic this month. I would have loved to be here the entire time, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Next year, though. Next year.
So are you here just for today, or are you here
Today and then tomorrow all day I'll be here.
Okay.
I leave 28th early.
Okay. Yeah, so they have their after party, they do like their ceremony and stuff too, where they give away, like, do the award ceremony on Saturday evening. So if you're here for that, you can go check that out as well.
Yeah, I made sure to be there.
Okay, good. Because that's a fun time. Because last year they had is it Martin Cove? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Martin
So
Cove.
the guy that played the John Kreese, the bad guy in Karate Kid.
Oh, yeah.
Not the kid, but the bad sensei.
yeah.
And
You got a Lifetime Achievement Award.
yeah, he was here last year
Oh.
because he had done a movie in Dunedin. I think it's called A Taste of Love. Is
Something
I think
like
what
that.
it was called. But yeah, he was out
his
here
son
and stuff.
was the
Protagonist.
the star.
Yes.
Yeah, starring role.
He wasn't sweeping the leg, though.
Yeah, he didn't sweep the leg. Yeah.
And occasionally, like some years, you know, they get some really really high end people here. I think, and also last year they had Mitch Bell, who's the exec VP of Marvel, who actually left Georgia while they were filming Captain America: Winter Soldier to come down here for a couple days to kind of do some Q&As and stuff, and that was real fun. So you never know who you're going to meet, and it's actually very relaxed, very enjoyable experience here.
Yeah, I've been loving it so far. It's
Awesome.
chill. It's not like high pressure, and I'm like you said, I'm here to meet as many people as I can.
Yep.
So.
Absolutely, and this is a place to do it, man. The networking here, and we were just, the other gentleman that we were talking to a little bit ago, who created this app or this platform, and
I talked to him as well.
did you? Yeah.
about
So
it,
he
yeah.
was really cool, but he was like, everybody's just everybody's networking, and it's like there's not a competitive thing here. Like filmmakers want to learn from other filmmakers. Everybody's just enjoys a real good vibe. So definitely, enjoy your time while you're here, and come back next year. But definitely submit your film and see what they say. So,
for sure.
But do you have any plans for what the next film is going to be?
That's a great question. So I am producing a couple projects right now, and then I'm writing I'm going to be directing the short film that I have a friend of mine writing. Mm-hmm. It's an action short film. I have a friend who's like pretty deep in the stunt world, and he's been begging me to put him on an action film. So we have like this kind of like a bank heist situation going for that short. The feature film, I can't say too much about because it's still very early. But in short, like thematically, it's kind of a story about like two people competing for the top spot as actors.
Okay.
And kind of like how jealousy and greed and envy can play a role in, ruining relationships.
Okay.
That's being written and directed by a good friend of mine who is not here. I'm just producing. I'm there for the ride. I had a heart-to-heart with him one day. I was like, listen, man, we gotta come back strong. We gotta make something strong. And this is the idea that he pitched me, and we've been running with it ever since. And then we're working on a documentary that, if all goes well, will go into production in July, early July.
Okay.
The only missing piece right now is funding, basically. But it's about voice actors. We're kind of pulling back the curtain on the trials and tribulations that they have to go through, and especially because they're like behind the screen most of the time. We're trying to like give them the opportunity to tell their story. And like we have, I don't know if you guys know Chris Judge or the video game God of War.
Christopher Judge?
Yes.
From one of my favorite television shows.
Yes. We just got him on board as an EP.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to be helping out with a lot of the talent acquisition. He's going to be narrating the project, and he's going to be talent in the project.
I want updates on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I have my contact, so.
Yep. There's a voice actor. My favorite voice actor, his name is David Hayter.
Okay.
He wrote X1 and X2, and he was in Guyver 2 Dark Hero, but he was the voice of Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid movies.
Oh, nice.
He's very, not prolific, like in a bad way, but he's very vocal about the voice acting community.
Yeah. You're honestly like our target audience. We're looking for people in that like crossover millennial Gen Z time frame that played video games like Metal Gear Solid and
that's my favorite video game.
Comic books, all that sort of stuff, So it's really interesting, and the director, he's a huge nerd, but you wouldn't know it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of been the fun part for me, is like getting to know him better on that end of like understanding. I'm not a big comic book person myself. I'm a big video game person. Unfortunately, never played God of War. I just like barely missed that.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah, I know. I need to go back.
I played all 5 games, so they're amazing.
Now you know how we feel when you say there's a movie you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Well, this is upsetting. Do I do this to you guys all the time?
Yes,
you do.
Exactly.
Oh, I don't like this feeling. I have to go home and watch every movie ever made.
Yeah, right. There's a book
this.
out there that's like 100 or 1,000 movies everyone must watch. I need to go through that one and just watch every single one. But yeah, that's what I'm working on in short.
Nice. So I get the question I have too. So you said this was your first film you've done, or first film ever. What were you doing before that, and then what kind of got you geared towards filmmaking?
I was in school. I was in college.
Okay.
So 2020, the whole pandemic happened. We switched to online schooling, which was a very weird adjustment for me. And I was still doing a lot of like music videos. Like I had just moved to LA like a year and a half before the pandemic.
Okay.
How old was I? 19 when I moved.
Okay.
So, still getting my feet wet in the industry as a whole, meeting people, doing the music video thing to get my reps in. And when the whole pandemic thing happened, I saw a tweet, funny enough, that said Shakespeare wrote King Lear during a pandemic. And for whatever reason, that inspired me. I was like, all right, I'm putting everything aside and focusing on this film. I'm going to make it happen at all costs. And I did that.
Yeah, he did
nice.
that during the Black Plague.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or the Spanish flu, one of those two.
No, I think it was the
Black
Plague. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know my history.
But yeah, so that's basically what inspired that. That's what I was doing before. And after the film, I started a production company where, it was a production company, but it really became a video service company where we help businesses grow their online presence.
Okay.
In high school and like middle school, I was doing a lot of gaming YouTube videos. I was playing Minecraft and putting out YouTube videos.
During the pandemic, I tried that and realized I suck.
Oh no, it's great, bro. You just gotta give it time. You know what I mean? It took me 3 years to like start to build confidence with it. But that's kind of where I learned how to edit. It's where I got like very inspired by other YouTubers. You may know Casey Neistat. I was very inspired by his style of vlogging, and slowly my transition to filmmaking happened in that time period. But I needed to pay the bills, so I realized that I have the knowledge of social media, I have the skills to make videos. Let me put those two together and help people grow their online presence.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's what I do to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
I like to say that filmmaking is a hobby for me, which is weird, but I'm the kind of person that everything I do I take very seriously. So if I'm gonna like play video games, I'm gonna stream them too, just because why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I take films very seriously, although I kind of try to keep it mentally as a hobby, because once you are doing things for the money, the attitude towards it shifts, and you start like there's stakes involved. So I don't want to make movies to make money necessarily. I want to make movies because I like making movies, I like watching movies, I like all of that. It just so happens
and
that
if you happen to make money off of that,
Exactly.
no one's complaining.
Yeah, it's like
you want to put your vision in it.
Yeah, I went on a bender on Film Courage's YouTube channel. I don't know if you guys have heard of Film Courage. I love their platform from an education standpoint, and I like learned everything I need to know about distribution that way. And ever since then, I'm like, all right, let me just try to make a movie that can make money. So yeah.
Well, that's really cool, man, and we definitely would hope to, keep in contact. I know you got a prior engagement. I think you said you have to be at in a little bit, if I remember correctly. See, I listen. I pay attention to people, man. I try to be sensitive on these things.
What?
Yeah, shut up. You shut up. But no, seriously, thanks for joining. Let us know, we got your contact. Keep in touch with us. Let us know the progress of the short film that you're doing and on your next films that you're going to be working on.
Yeah, if you have any other products you want to promote, let us know. We'll throw them up on our socials.
Beautiful.
Yeah, let us know.
It was great chatting. Thanks for sitting down.
Absolutely. No, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. And for you audience members out there, it's continuation of Day 2 Sunscreen Film Festival. We continue to do more interviews later on the rest of the day and the rest of the weekend. But until then, for Movie Talks and Chill, we're your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I'm Kevin Butts.
I'm Patrick Wall.
I'm Tarek Abraham.
All right, guys, take care.